Everywhere he goes and everybody he comes in contact with, he sends the message out about how important community is, about how important it is that we all take care of each other, how important it is that we all think of each other as brother and sister and try to help and make decisions that will better all of us.
And he just has this natural, God-given ability to relate to people. And people recognize that. And I don't believe he's ever been judged one way or the other by trying to give advice to children or trying to give advice to parents, because they know when it's Judge Mac, he's authentic.
The smile on his face, engaging with me and everybody and the folks that he works with, he is compassionate.
And he never gets angry. I rarely ever saw him get upset. And there were a lot of things to get upset about. But he just listened, he responded calmly and clearly, and everybody knew exactly what he meant. There was no guessing about what he meant.
He still volunteers to work with kids in high school. I saw him interacting with those kids, and they looked up to him like a dad.
It was just a wonderful thing to see young men respond in such a positive way to mentorship, to positive reinforcement, as well as high expectations that Judge McSwain placed on each and every one of them.
He probably has 1,000,001 secrets from everybody he's ever met because he's so open. Everybody tells their business to him and he doesn't share it with anybody else, because I can't think of anybody else who's ever been mad at him because he violated a trust. So I would think that without most people realizing, he is probably one of the most trustworthy people you will ever meet.
You know, part of our problem today is we're not listening to each other. He, I think, exemplified the kind of person who would be compassionate to people in difficult situations and would listen with his heart, not only with his heart, but with his head. From my perspective, he's an exceptional man.
He loves the West. He loves the Wild West. And over the years, he has given me numerous books to read. And even on social media, he talks about his experiences, his travels. And if somebody asks him a question, he'll look it up, he'll research, he'll give them a book to read. So yeah, that's what he does.
He loves his Buffalo Soldiers, and he could talk to you about that for hours and hours. And if you ever want to know a good place to go, to visit, to travel, and learn and educate yourself, he's the man to go to, because he's been a lot of places and he's learned a lot of things. And you can trust that whatever he says about what you'll learn there, you will learn there.
I had the occasion to go through one of our A&T yearbooks when he was in college, and I found all these pictures of him and his karate stances and all the trophies and awards and accolades that he received, but he doesn't really talk about it.
I think everyone that knows Judge McSwain knows what a badass he is, but he's a badass physically and mentally.
As far as a paratrooper, when I found out that he jumped out of a plane, I'm like, really, Judge?
We loved it when we knew Judge McSwain was going to be on the bench, because we knew he would listen to what we had to say. He would listen to the families, and he was never in a hurry about it.
Judge Mac doesn't disagree with people. He's a judge, right? And so he clearly can openly talk to people of different views and values equally. I mean, that's not his filter, and therefore can encourage all of us to have a conversation.
I think he just loves people, and that love comes through, and it means a lot to people when they're in a difficult situation in the court. Having somebody who hears them and is accepting of their situation, and he's someone who's willing to listen to both sides and try to find a common ground.
I think Judge McSwain exudes the ethic of care. And when you combine the ethic of care with the ethic of justice, I think it's more palatable. People can tolerate it a little bit more. So I think that's what makes him unique, and that's what allows him to reach people.
He's a 20-year cancer survivor. And I told him many times, God's just not done with you yet.
Good evening. I want to thank the NCCJ and its staff for honoring me. I want to thank all of its supporters. I want to thank my co-honoree, Dr. Nito Cobain. I also want to thank everyone present at this event. My Uncle Frank, who grew up in High Point, North Carolina, when I graduated from high school, gave me 2 books. One, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and the second one was As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. In the second book by James Allen, there's a line that has stuck with me most of my life. And it was that if you plant seeds on good ground, it will grow and be productive. I'd like to say thank you, Yvonne Johnson, because you asked me to let some kids come out and ride my horses. And those kids just enjoyed themselves so much. They were so excited and so thankful that I wanted to be able to contribute again. And so I appreciate you for sowing a seed. I want to thank the Family Life Council for allowing me to participate in the Children of Divorce program, as well as the Wise Guy program. You sowed seeds within me to allow me to contribute to the well-being of the community. I also want to thank the Alcohol and Substance Abuse Council program, both in Greensboro and High Point, for allowing me to participate and to make a difference in our community. The same thing is true of the domestic violence program in both cities. You gave me a chance to participate. You sowed seeds within me to let me contribute to the well-being of our city. I want to thank the people at the Academy at Smith because they allowed me to start mentoring junior and senior young men so that I could try to contribute to them becoming leaders and productive citizens. You sowed a seed. Some of those young people who have gone to any town have returned to Smith to tell me that this was the most impactful event in their life and that it caused them to want to do better. I must say thank you to my wife, Vivian, because she's tolerated me not being around, being gone. Well, I thank you, Vivian. Thank all of you who have contributed to my being a seed that grew and became productive here in this community, in this area, and I appreciate you for coming out.